Today is Tuesday, August 16th, 2022. This is a regular board meeting of the San Benito CISD Board of Trustees, and I call this meeting to order. The time is 5:30. Start out with roll call. Ms. Janie Lopez,
Present.
Mr. Oscar Medrano,
Present.
Mr. Rudy Corona, Dr. Ariel Cruz, Mr. Orlando Lopez, Mr. Mario Silva,
Present.
Ms. Teresa Cervellon,
Present.
Mr. Stephen Weller,
Present.
Ramiro Moreno, I'm here, and so we do have a quorum established. So with that said, we move on to item 1.2. There's Ms. Ariel Cruz. Okay. We move on to item 1.2 and 1.3, the Pledge of Allegiance to the United States flags and Texas flags, and our invocation.
Leading us in the Pledge of Allegiance is Mr. Hausler, on behalf of Rene Zamora. Mr. Hausler? Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Thank you, Mr. Hauser. You may please take a seat, and then we're going to do the invocation. Okay. Please get up again. I'm sorry. I need to read this. Okay, leading us in the invocation from Gateway to Graduation Academy, Trinity. Trinity Vaughn. Trinity is a 12th grade student at the Gateway to Graduation Academy. She is the sister of Giselle Gonzalez. Her favorite subject is science, and she plans to attend Texas State Technical College. Trinity looks forward to working in the medical field.
Let us bow our heads. Dear Lord, tonight we ask that you shine your precious light upon this body of leaders. May you guide their thoughts, discussions, and decisions to be in the best interest of positive and successful outcomes for our district students, staff, and community. Lord, as we begin our new academic year, we ask that you keep us safe from all harm. For our teachers, share with them your wisdom, guidance, and courage to serve the students of San Benito in a safe and comfortable environment. We thank you today for all your blessings, and we look forward to another successful school year. In your name we pray, amen.
We have something for you, Trinity, if we want to take a picture with you.
Okay.
So they'll come down, and then you just go up and stand there with them and they'll take a picture.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Oh.
Will the parents please stand up and be recognized at this time? Parents? Thank you.
All right, the next item on our agenda is item 2.1, special recognition. Ms. Cervellon?
Thank you, President Moreno. Yes, tonight We are really excited about having some of our students here so that we can give them the praise that they so rightfully deserve. Mrs. Gonzalez?
Good evening, Board President Moreno, trustees, and interim Superintendent Cedrillon. This evening, we are recognizing a group of after-school program students and their two sponsors. They had quite an exciting summer, all in the name of safety. I'm going to call the students and sponsors one by one, and then I will share with you what they did, leaving you in suspense. Divine Alanis, 10th grade, San Benito High School. Devante Alanis, 9th grade. Kevin Cruz, 9th grade. Valeria Soto, 9th grade. Alexandra Romero, 9th grade. Jose Hernandez, 9th grade. And their sponsors are Michelle Ruelas and Carmen Galindo. This delegation was one of 11 selected out of 22 that applied across the state of Texas. On June 12th, the delegation traveled to Texas State University in San Marcos, Texas, to attend the Texas State Safety Center Youth Preparedness Camp. While there, our delegation participated in a FEMA Community Emergency Response Team CERT basic training and earned a CERT certificate of completion, including the sponsors. The students went through 5 days of intensive, yes, hands-on training that included the following sessions: disaster preparedness, disaster medical operations, disaster psychology, fire safety, utility control, and team organization. As a team, they developed a community action plan and acquired the leadership skills needed to address emergency preparedness in their schools and communities upon returning home. Our students were essentially trained to become the leaders of safety amongst their peers here in San Benito. Through the Youth Preparedness Camp, the after-school program was introduced to the Texas Youth Preparedness Council. The council brings together youth leaders from across the state who are interested in emergency preparedness and making their community more resilient in the face of potential disaster. One of our students was recommended by the Texas Council Coordinator to apply and become a member of the 2022-2023 Texas Youth Preparedness Council. Congratulations to Devante Alanis. Good away. We know that you will represent our school district and community quite well. Will the parents of these students please stand and be recognized? We know that you have a great future, and we're proud to be a part of your journey.
Excellent job.
We're going to take a group photo now.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we continue with our meeting, and next item up is item 3.1, public comment. Before we begin, I will remind our audience, members of the board's procedures for handling public comment. The public comment portion of our meeting is available to members of the public who wish to address any topic. Anyone who would like to speak during public comment must sign in prior to the start of the meeting and list the topic or topics they want to discuss. Each public comment speaker will be allowed a maximum of 3 minutes to address the board for each topic. If more than 10 speakers are signed up to speak on the same topic, all additional speakers on that item shall be limited to 2 minutes. However, any public testimony speaker who requires a translator will receive up to 6 minutes to address the board. Please keep your comments or criticisms civil and courteous. Please avoid using profanity and refrain from making personal attacks on others during your opportunity to speak. Lastly, we ask that you do not discuss students who are not your own children. If a speaker is seeking board resolution of a specific complaint, that concern should be addressed through the district's grievance process. District policy DGBA has been established for addressing employee complaints. Policy FNG is the avenue for filing parent complaints, and policy GF addresses community member complaints. Grievance forms may be obtained at any campus administration office or at the district's central administration offices. Thank you. Our first speaker tonight is Mr. Wayne Powell. Mr. Powell, welcome.
Thank you. Good evening to the board members and to the superintendent. Thank you for having me. My name is Wayne Powell, and I'm president of the San Benito Historical Society. I have a few of our board members here, if I could introduce them. Miss Tootie Madden back here, Sandra Tumberlinson, Dolly Lovett, and Ben Fry. So thank you. Okay, I'm here tonight to thank you for your cooperation in making the Bobby Joe Morrow Olympian Historical Marker a reality. The Texas Historical Commission, with the consent of the San Benito School District and the Cameron County Historical Commission, approved this topic, which means so much to the citizens of San Benito. The hardest part was getting the topic written and approved, but now that's done, and we're happy and relieved. From now on, we will be in contact with the State Commission and keep you posted on all the steps that it takes to get the marker here. Because of COVID has forced the state to slow down, markers are taking longer to arrive. We are still waiting for the marker on the Caladret School to arrive, and it was approved last year. But we are hoping at least by the end of 2023, we will have that marker, and we hope to work on the dedication in cooperation with the school district. Please remember also that the Caladret Black History Museum is open free of charge, and we encourage teachers to plan trips, bringing students to visit any day of the week. We are available for classroom presentations and larger group presentations. Again, thank you for your support.
Mr. Powell, thank you.
Thank you.
Our next speaker is Guadalupe Ortega Benavides. Ms. Benavides, welcome.
Good evening. My name is Guadalupe Ortega Benavides. Thank you for having me here today. I have 4 topics, Board President. If you can go ahead and say the first one, please.
The first one you have listed is accountability and liability. The first topic is accountability and liability of employees and student safety.
I have how many minutes? 3?
3 minutes.
Thank you, sir. I've been sending emails more than 2 months, and these emails pertain to cameras, if they're operable. I've sent them to superintendent, I've sent them to public relations, and I haven't gotten a response. The thing is, what worries me is the safety. Look what happened at Uvalde, a massacre. And for me to be asking for this information is hard. Not getting a response At least say, you know what, let me look into it. If you know that you have an executive director and she knows it's not operable, what have you all said? You need to say something. You need to let somebody know. Nobody did. Well, I'll tell you today what happened. Today, there was a lockdown. There was a lockdown in maintenance. In maintenance. There was a lockdown in maintenance? Who knows where else? And let me tell you where these individuals were. They were in the lounge. That's the camera that I've been asking for. And was it operable? No, it wasn't. God forbid somebody goes in there. And I know these are older men, but can you imagine a school? Let me ask you something, Superintendent. You're the superintendent. Have you asked all school principals if everything's operable? All the cameras are operable on all public buildings in the district? That's one question that I want an answer to. If all cameras are operable, because something can happen, and guess what? Well, nobody ever said anything. And to me, I'm not mad. I'm disappointed. Because 4 of you elected the superintendent. Is she ready for something like this? God forbid something happens. And this is something serious. This is something very serious, and I want you all to look into it. And that smirks. No. You all need to look into it. And also public relations. You need to look into it. How come she's judging? Oh, it's research, it's illegal. You know what? She's not a lawyer. God forbid something would have happened today with my husband. Let me tell you something. You are liable. I'm holding you accountable and liable. And this is a serious situation. And you board members need to look into this. You seriously need to look into this. Because God forbid something happens, you all are liable. I'm ready for the next one.
Okay, you ready for your next one, ma'am? The next topic that you've got is, I believe it says funds, is that
Yes,
correct?
sir.
Funds? All right, you've got your 3 minutes, ma'am.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Last month, you all were talking about the blanket, the supplemental, SR 3. I called TEA. There wasn't a finding. The thing is, when you word things to the public, they think wrong. Instead of wording it correctly, you don't have to say fine, because people are then going to think, oh, we were fined. And that wasn't the situation. You need to be transparent. You have taken the oath how many times? The first one you won, and then you took it twice again. Board president and Ms. Vice President, you all took an oath. And what did that oath say? What are you all doing that you're not following your own oath? You up there are as role models. You have all the community looking at you all. And the way you address each other, you need to respect and more likely be more transparent. And you need to come out and say, you know what? It wasn't a finding. But no, they lied and they said, public relations. Oh, they never said that. No, it's on record. Superintendent did say it's a finding. You need to be transparent with these individuals, this community. We pay taxpayers. We pay our taxes. People that are 80 years old, anybody that lives in San Benito pays taxes. You need to be transparent. It's not good to assume or mislead your community. Because guess what? People remember. People can go back to the videos. And that's not good at all. Because then guess what? You lose trust from the community for not being transparent. Yes.
All right, ma'am, your next topic is insurances.
Yes, sir.
Oh, sorry about that. Your next topic is insurances.
Yes, thank you. I saw a picture that they put on this week. A board member put on a picture. And you know what? It's fine. If you want to go eat, hey, you can go eat with anybody you want. I got no problem with you go eating. That's great. When it's 1 or 2 board members, it's not a quorum. When it's 3, nope. But when it's 4, in the policy book it states, open acts meeting. The only time that you can meet like that, I'll tell you when it is. When you go to TASB, when you go to conventions, when you go to trainings, you can all get together and eat, whatever, great. But when you're not in a training, that is called a quorum. And the superintendent to be there with the insurance that's gonna be renewed next month, how do you think that looks? How do you think it looks? It looks biased. Are you gonna go out for any bids? Did you already give him the account? You need to look at that things. You seriously do. And again, I'll go back, taking the oath. How many times did y'all make him take, all of y'all, the oath? You let him take it 2 times more because you want to be transparent. You want it to be truthful. You want to be transparent. You want to be truthful. You want the community to know what's going on with our taxpayers' money. We are here to help each other and grow. Where's the San Benito used to be? A powerhouse. Where is it now? Tell me. Where's the powerhouse where there was communication? You could help one another. But again, you took the oath. And one of you even went to the extent to say, I will take the oath. I will by all laws, local, state, government, and even to hold me responsible. You can go back into the video and you will be able to see it. Do you think that's fair for everybody to see that? That y'all are biased? And you just didn't do it one time. You did it before with the lawyer as well. When you all voted. And let me tell you, the only thing positive I see about that picture, I'm going to tell you right now. 3 board members that weren't there, I applaud them. I applaud these individuals for following their protocol. I seriously do. They're following their oath that y'all made them take again and again. And how do you think y'all look? You're all following. You're breaking your own bylaws. Where they're following the bylaws. How does that work? And guess what? Again, you lose the trust of the community. We're not here to pinpoint. What I'm telling you are facts.
Okay, your time is up on that one, ma'am. You have one more.
Yes.
Hold on real quick. Your next topic is a plumber project. You may begin.
Give me 1 second. Alrighty. We all know that the school doesn't have a master plumber. The school has 3 plumbers. One of them that has an apprentice license. Okay? This plumber, and I'm going to say it, he's going through a lot with the school district. He's going through a lot, harassment, bullying, this individual. And how do you think he feels for him not getting the credit? Project that the plumbing department do in the district, culinary art, did everything from the underground plumbing to above ground supply to all fixtures. Gas line, grass strip, grease traps, connection water, gas to all equipment installed to the fire line to the indoor facility, 750 feet. Of the main water pipe also cut off valve and the connection to existing water main. These projects were summed together saved the district $750,000. Did anybody bother to say thank you? No. Why don't you appreciate when people are saving the money? What you're doing, you're going back and you're attacking. You're attacking somebody that's not here anymore. You need to let it go. If not, you're never going to move forward. We need to move forward in this community as a family. Because guess what? These guys are there 8 to 5. And guess what? Who's their family? The maintenance. You're there to guide. You're there to help. And you're not doing that. You're turning the other way. This, two projects were then sometime together that saved $750,000. That backflow prevent from Bobby Morrow Stadium to the district over $15,000. Also, the fire main line maintenance department, also school bus parking lot, and the contractors that did the parking lot. 250 feet main water, one of the fire hydrants, and 2 cutoff valves saved the district $250,000. I took the lead, Mr. Benavides took the lead in the installation of the fire line in the indoor facility and the backflow preventer, and had input on the back lot fire line installed. Mr. Benavides, Mr. Huerta, and Mr. Herrera are the only plumbers in the district. And that's something positive. And you need to be happy that you have individuals that give 110, 120%. And just to let you know,
Ms. Ortega, thank you for being here tonight. Your
Thank
time
you.
is up.
thank you.
Have a good evening. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we move on with our agenda. Item 4.1, interim superintendent's remarks. Ms. Cervellon.
Thank you, President Moreno. So this evening, there's just a lot of great things happening in San Benito, and we have it shining brighter and brighter day by day. And I attribute all of this to our exceptional students and to our dedicated staff. Monday morning, let's go with Monday morning. That started really early for everybody in San Benito. By 5 o'clock, I'm on the phone. And we have several staff members who were ready to serve our SBCISD community by 5:30 a.m. Evaluating roads, checking on any damages that our campuses may have sustained due to the heavy rain. We had transportation out there, maintenance, child nutrition, security, our police department, energy management. Everybody was on top of it. Campus administrators, district administrators, teachers. So I really commend everybody for everything they did because it was really smooth on Monday. One little glitch that was quickly fixed. So thank you is truly not strong enough to express our complete appreciation for making sure that our kids are safe and getting what they need through thick and thin. So tonight I have additional great news. Besides the fact that, you know what, we're ready for anything that they may throw at us. We're gonna talk a little bit about the achievement, the academic achievement of our campuses as it relates to our state's accountability system. So officially, our ratings were released on Monday. We did get them on Friday, but we had to keep them on the DL. So on Monday, we did release our ratings. Our district will be rated a B, with our district earning 28 distinctions. So again, that goes back to our exceptional students and our dedicated staff. With that, I would like to delineate specifically our ratings by campus. A-rated campuses. We have Dr. C.M. Cash Elementary with distinctions in ELAR, math, science, comparable growth, academic growth, post-secondary readiness, and comparable also closing the gaps, right? So Dr. Raul Garza is also one of our A campuses. Again, we have ELAR, math, post-secondary readiness, and closing the gaps, as well as science. As far as our distinctions go, La Encantada Elementary, an A-rated campus as well, with distinctions in ELAR, math, science, academic growth, post-secondary readiness, and closing the gaps. La Paloma Elementary, also an A-rated campus, with a distinction in academic growth. Now moving on to our B-rated campuses, we have Angela G. Leal Elementary, Fred Booth Elementary with a distinction in math. Judge Oscar de la Fuente, also B rated. Distinction in science. Ed Downs Fine Arts Academy. Distinction in ELAR. A B also for Rangerville Elementary. The Sullivan Environmental Science Academy with a B. Distinction in ELAR and math. Riverside Middle School. Distinction in social studies. Berta Cavazza Middle School. Distinctions in science and academic growth. And San Benito High School. Distinction in post-secondary readiness. Our C-rated campuses are Frank Roberts Elementary, Miller Jordan Middle School, with a distinction in social studies, and we also have Veterans Memorial Academy. So again, this goes back to everything that everybody does day in and day out. And we want to thank you a million times, and if we could, even more, for everything that you do. So keep on doing what you're doing. Let's keep banding together. Remember, let's keep our eye on the target and on the mark, and that's what's important, because you know who's in the center of that target, our kids. So again, thank you. Congratulations. President Moreno?
Yes, I'd like to address our staff here today. Principals, congratulations. Being a principal myself, I know it's a daunting task. COVID didn't help at all. Our kids are behind closing those gaps. San Benito CISD did a phenomenal job. Our kids did a phenomenal job, but under your leadership. And I see I'm looking at Mr. Luis Gonzalez here. Everybody put in their efforts. Everybody counts, everybody. Our departments, our food service, our transportation, our security, everybody, to, down to protecting our kids, making sure we're providing a safe and orderly environment. It takes a team. It's often said that it takes a village. We are the village. You are the village. And so thank you for everything that you did. It's great news. And it's things that we need to highlight, all the great things that are happening in San Benito. So thank you to everyone here tonight. Great job.
And President Moreno, if I may, I would also like to add something. So today we had a secure that we called for our country schools because of something that happened in Bronzeville ISD, which they were very quick acting as well. And so I just want you to know that all our principals, our security, our police officers were really on top of everything again. It went off very smoothly. Our kids were safe. Everybody kept on learning, eating, growing, etc. So again, I want to thank all our principals out in our country schools for being ready to go, like I said, at a moment's notice. And even though that didn't happen in our district, happened, maybe 20 to 25 miles south of us, we were prepared. So thank you again for that.
All right, we move on to item 4.2 through 4.5, cash account report, comparison of revenue and expenditures to budget, tax collection, and check disbursements for July 2022. Mr. Rayon?
Yes, so I will ask our Chief Financial Officer, Ms. Mata, to go ahead and walk us through all these reports.
Good evening, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, and Ms. Rion. I will start with the superintendent report, and let me just make sure I know how to use this thing. Okay, so we're going to start with the cash investment balances. So if you can tell, the report for the cash at hand at our First Community Bank, which is our bank, we have a total of cash of $2,935,674.38. The investment accounts, which consist of First Public, Texas Class Investment Accounts, and the Ameritrade, is a total of $72,104,604.17. for a total of cash and investment balance of $75,040,278.55. The next one, do you read the next one? Danny?
I have a question.
Okay.
On the student activity account, is that how much we have, 193,000?
On the student activity at the bank, yes.
At the bank,
And
yeah.
if you look at, let me look at the other accounts. Yes, that's what it is.
Can we get a list of those?
Yes.
Student activity accounts?
Yeah.
I would appreciate it, thank you.
You'd like the listing and balance per, okay. Okay. Okay,
Are there any questions, board members? Okay, so we move on to the comparison of revenue and expenditures.
okay. So, on the comparison of revenues and expenditures, for the general fund, which is comprised of your child nutrition, athletics, band, choir, the Project Fit America, and your local maintenance, which is the general fund. To date, for the month of July, which is our first month for the fiscal year, it's $7,333,600.26. On the interest and sinking fund, which is what we use to pay our bond payments, for the month of July, we've realized $54,485.37 for a combined revenue of $7,388,85.63. If you notice that the INS is kind of low, it is a summer month, and the new tax revenue doesn't begin until October. Okay? For the capital projects, which of course is our bond project, for the month of July, it generated $15,177.58 in interest, for the total interest earned of $941,043.29. For the total bond revenues for the bond and the interest combined at $40,941,043.29.
Ms. Mata, just a correction there, and I know it's just an error on your
Okay.
part, but you mentioned, as far as the interest that we received, you mentioned 15 million, it's 15,000?
15,000, I'm sorry.
That's all right.
Okay.
Just clarify, for clarification, if we were 50 million, we'd be,
I
but
wish.
I just thought, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, on the expenditure side, again, the general fund is compromises of, with the same funds stated in revenues, and the total expenditure for the month of July is $2,001,804.74. And in the interest and sinking, you don't see any expenditure because our first bond payment is until August, actually August 15th, and that's already been sent out. And then for our capital projects is, we've spent $18,040,301.39 to date, no expenditures for the month of July. Any questions on that?
Questions, anyone? All right. Moving forward to item 4.4, Ms. Mata, for tax collection.
Okay, on the tax collections, this is for the month of July. Again, it is our first month for the fiscal year. So under M&O for current, we collected $158,959.73, and delinquent is $45,203.58 on the M&O side, which goes to our general fund. On the INS side, it's current $43,423.68, and delinquent is $9,152.21, for a total tax collection of $256,739.29. Any questions on that?
No questions, ma'am. So we move on to your final presentation, item 4.5, check disbursements for July 2022.
Okay, so for the check disbursements, the quick analysis is general fund AP checks is $831,573.37. Student activity checks is $10,539.95. There were no checks issued for the construction projects. The scholarship checks were $12,500. That's from the tournament, the golf tournament, I believe, that they raised. The payroll checks, we paid out $5,636,233.73. And for the payroll liability checks, which is your IRS, TRS, your voluntary insurances, is $1,536,084.97, for a total of checks of $8,026,932.02. Any questions on anything?
Anyone have any questions on the check disbursements? No, ma'am. Thank you very
Thank
much for
you.
your presentation, ma'am.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda is the consent agenda items. We begin with our academic services. Item 5.1, request approval of Eduphoria Premium Suite Edition district-wide for the 2022-2023 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.2, request approval of the secondary school partnership agreement between San Benito CISD and Texas State Technical College Upward Bound Program for the 2022-2023 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.3, request approval of the academic agreement between San Benito CISD and Texas Southmost College, TSC, dual credit program for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.4, request approval of the mobile unit agreement between San Benito CISD and the University of Texas Health Science Center at Houston for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.5, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Agreement for the 22-23 school year. Question?
Question.
Item 5.6, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and the University of Texas at Rio Grande Valley School of Social Work Internship Program for the 22-23 school year. Any questions? Consent. Item 5.7, request approval of the memorandum of agreement between San Benito CISD and ACE After-School Program and the Girl Scouts of Greater South Texas for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.8, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Buckner Children and Family Services Incorporated for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 5.9, request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Prairie View A&M University in partnership with Juntos Program. Questions? Consent. Item 5.10, request approval of agreement between San Benito CISD and College Board. Questions? Consent. Moving on to consent agenda items under Business and Finance. Item 6.1, request approval to accept gifts and bequests for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 6.2, request approval to accept and award proposals for RFP 1221 Meals and Catering Services district-wide. Questions? Consent. Item 6.3, request approval to accept and award proposals for RFP 1221 General Merchandise and Services. Questions? Consent. Item 6.4, request approval to accept and award proposals for RFP 1221 PCS Professional Consultant Services district-wide. Questions? Consent. Consent agenda items under administration. Item 7.1, request approval of the T-Test appraisal list for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 7.2, request approval of the T-PES appraisal list for the 22-23 school year. Questions? Consent. Item 7.3, request approval of revision or revisions to the 2022-2023 compensation plan. Questions? Consent. Item 7.4, request approval of affiliation agreement between UTRGV and San Benito CISD. Questions? Consent. And item 7.5, request approval of board minutes. Question? Consent. All right, with that said, I would ask for a motion to approve consent agenda items in all areas from 5.1 to 5.4, and then 5.6 to 5.10 as far as academic services, items 6.1 through 6.4 under business and finance, and items 7.1 through 7.5 under administration. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Okay, we have a motion by Oscar Medrano. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Janie Lopez. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Okay, we come back to item 5.5 under academic services. Item 5.5, once again, is a request approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Agreement for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Lopez.
Ms. Servillon, The question that I have here is related to attendance. When students go on field trips for AgriLife, sometimes they're being counted absent. And so I wanted to bring that to your attention. It was something that was brought to my attention, but I think it's a great program, and it's very beneficial to our kids, and our kids learn a lot of leadership skills, presentation skills, and so forth. But I also wouldn't want them to be marked absent if they're going on these trips related to this program. So if you can just look into that. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Lopez. At this time, I am requesting approval of the memorandum of understanding between San Benito CISD and Texas A&M AgriLife Extension Agreement for the 22-23 school year. Do I have a motion?
So moved?
Okay, I have a motion by Ms. Janie Lopez and a second by Mr. Silva. Mario Silva, I'm sorry. Okay, all those in favor, raise your right hand. My gosh. Yeah, item carries 4-0. Sorry about that. We move on to action agenda item. Item 8.1, discussion, consideration, and possible approval regarding purchases of over $25,000. Ms. Cervellon.
Yes, I am requesting that we approve the purchases over $25,000 as presented.
Okay, board members, you have the items before you. Are there any questions at this point?
Which ones are renewals and which ones are brand-new programs that we're bringing in?
For each vendor? That's what you're asking? Well, for Amplify is new,
Amplify's new, Branching Minds is,
new.
that one's not new. And then Unique Digital Secure Works.
The last one, what?
The Unique Digital Secure Works.
I think that's new.
Yes, it's new as well.
Okay. I'm gonna formally request a list of all of the programs that we have currently and then the new ones that have been added since March. Just so we can have a catalog.
Okay, we can get that to you.
Okay, any other questions?
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Ms. Servillon,
Yes, ma'am.
on the intervention kits, what are those going to be used for?
So the intervention kits are used for reading interventions. So what we've done with Amplify is, it really is just the whole suite or the whole packet. Not only do we have the universal screener, but it also has lessons that it can place you in. And then the intervention kits are for students that might need additional support. So it'll be very targeted. We want to make sure that we're also meeting all the standards to prepare our kids, not only for state testing, but we also are looking at 45-45. Same thing happened with Branching Minds. If we're going to, go through that. Branching Minds is actually a program that we're going to utilize for our RTI, our student interventions, response to interventions. So we wanted to make sure that we had a system in place that we were targeting very deliberately and supporting students. So we're looking here at RTI as our Tier 2 and our Tier 3 instruction. But if you remember, our instructional playbook talks about a strong Tier 1 instruction. So, it starts there. But our Branching Minds will now bring everything back together. Right now, there's a disconnect with RTI, so we're really having a strong focus. These programs will all work well together.
So they're gonna streamline everything, in the suite that you are talking about for Amplify, that's gonna identify the areas that will need further intervention?
Correct, because there are universal screeners. There'll be a beginning of the year, a middle of the year, an end of the year screener, so we can adjust. And then, of course, there's progress monitoring in between.
Okay.
So that's where we're at with that.
Ms. Servillon, you mentioned the Tier 1 students will be using the Branching Minds. Would you explain to the public what that means? I know what it means, but
Yes.
would you explain?
So the Branching Mind will be more for our Tier 2 students, Tier 2 and Tier 3. So these are students that need additional remediation and support instructionally. It could be in subject areas. It could also, RTI, besides academics, could also be as We've noted before behavioral, emotional, et cetera. So we want to make sure that we're addressing the whole child. But with the branching minds in particular, we will be very focused, laser focused on the academics.
Thank you, Ms. Cervellon. Any further questions?
No, I just want to say, I think it's a great idea that you're doing this, because when it comes to our academics, to bring up those campuses that are Cs and Bs, I think that this is going to be very beneficial. Myself being a former teacher, I know that these interventions are very important, so thank you, and great job for doing that.
All right, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve purchases over $25,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Janie Lopez, second by Mario Silva. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. And just for the record, I know I'm familiar with M-Class, and it's really, really a great program because of the beginning, middle, and end of the year test. We use it at my school district, and so that's great. Item 8.2, discussion, consideration, and possible action to approve the San Benito CISD Student Code of Conduct for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Cervellon.
Yes, so tonight I'm requesting that we approve the student code of conduct, the SBCISD Student Code of Conduct, as presented for the 22-23 school year, as presented to the board.
Any questions, board members?
I'll go ahead and move.
Okay, we have a motion by Mr. Oscar Medrano to approve the San Benito CISD Student Code of Conduct for the 22-23 school year. Do I have a second?
Second.
We have a second by Dr. Ariel Cruz. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Item 8.3, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of the elementary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Cervellon.
Yes, sir. So we have made some revisions to our elementary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. I'm going to go ahead and call Mrs. Cornett to the podium so that she can review that with you.
Good evening, Board President, Mr. Moreno, board members, Interim Superintendent, Ms. Cervellon. Just a couple of minor changes. On this page 2, one of the items there is that we are moving from separating reading and language arts. We're going to be putting that into one grade book for teachers. It'll be RLA. However, the grades will still stay the same. Still 2 grades for reading, 2 grades for language arts. The other change that we're making, excuse me, for pre-K, towards the end of last year, we moved to pre-K. Instead of doing handwritten report cards, they went into the Skyward system. So we just made a note of that as well. The other thing is also we are updating the grading for pre-K, so it would be consistent with the other items that have letter grades. So there's some consistency there. We did update report card and progress report dates, so those are available for everyone for the school year. And the last one, another change that we made for elementary was on the cumulative folder for the end of the year. Instead of teachers having to go in there and manually write in the grades, we're going to be doing stickers. So those will be entered in there, just for a little consistency across the board.
Working smarter, not harder. Very
Trying.
good. Good job.
Thank you.
Board members, are there any questions? Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion to approve the elementary grading policy for the 22-23 school year.
So move.
Okay, we have a motion by Oscar Medrano and a second by Mario Silva. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 4-0. Item 8.4, discussion, consideration, and possible approval of the secondary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. Ms. Cervellon?
Yes, thank you, President Moreno. So we also have made some adjustments to our secondary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. We have Dr. McGee that will be walking us through those modifications.
Good evening, Board President Moreno, Board of Trustees, Interim Superintendent Cervellon. I'd like to direct your attention to the following adjustments that we've made to the secondary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. On page 7, you will note that in 2021, it was every 3 weeks we had 8 minor grades and 3 major grades. The adjustment we've made for the 22-23 school year is to have 9 minor daily grades and then 3 major grades as a minimum. The next adjustment that we've made is on page, excuse me, 8. If you see here, we added requirements for our biology and English courses. We just added those requirements for the enrolling information for biology. And the information base that was used to make this decision was based on the pathways used for the students to enroll. So they have specific pathways, and so we made that adjustment there. The next adjustment we've made, if you could turn your attention to page 12. For the high school, in the 21-22 school year, there was 1 numerical grade per week. In the 22-23 school year, the adjustments is now 2 grades per week. And every 3 weeks, that means they would have 6 daily grades and 1 major grade. And the reason for this adjustment is because of the accelerated pace of the courses. They take an entire course in a semester, meaning that according to the TEKS resource system, which we use as our primary guide for our curriculum, that they're covering, additional weeks. And so just to make sure that we were aligned, we added that additional grade. And finally, if you could please turn your attention to page 24. Here we added clarification for retesting and reteaching. So for a student who has not demonstrated mastery is one who has earned less than 70% on a major grade. And those conclude the adjustments that we've made to the grading policy for this school year.
Dr. McGee, if I may, and I just want to try to understand it. I mean, it's not rocket science, but I'm just a little concerned, but I accept your explanation. And looking on page 12, where y'all made those, that recommendation or that change by the end of each 3rd week of the 9 weeks, there you go. A minimum of 6 daily grades and 1 major grade should be taken in order. I answered my own question. Never mind.
Yes,
Sorry
sir.
about that. All right, any questions? All right, at this time, I'd like to entertain a motion to approve the secondary grading policy for the 22-23 school year. And Dr. McGee, thank you.
Thank you.
So moved.
Okay, we have a motion by Janie Lopez. Do I have a second? Second. I heard Mario Silva first. So all those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. And for the record, ladies and gentlemen, and for our record, Ms. Peggy, I'd like to mention that at the end of every motion that I've been making, I'm not counting myself. So the motion carries 5-0, not 4-0. So just for the record. All right, so the next item on the agenda is closed meeting. In accordance with Texas Government Code Open Meetings Act, the board may move into closed session for the following reasons. Section 551.071, for the purpose of a private consultation with the board's attorney on any or all subjects or matters authorized by law. Section 551.074, for the purpose of considering the appointment, employment, evaluation, reassignment, duties, discipline, or dismissal of a public officer or employee, or to hear complaints or charges against a public officer or employee. And Section 551.082, certain school board deliberations. The time is 6:29, and we move into executive session. All right, the time is 7:24, and we reconvene into open session. Item 10.2, action on matters considered in closed session. So we move on to 10.3, employment, resignation, retirements, and terminations. Ms. Cervellon.
Well, currently, I am signing off on the employment, resignations, retirements for the district, so I did present that packet.
Okay, so there is no action necessary at this time. Correct, Mr. Willer?
Correct.
All right, so we move on to adjournment. Do I have a motion to adjourn? Okay, we have a motion by Mario Silva. Do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Ariel Cruz.
To approve something else?
Do we? No?
No? Okay.
Okay, we have a motion by Mario Silva and a second by Dr. Ariel Cruz. All those in favor, raise your right hand. Motion carries 5-0. All right, thank you all. Y'all have a good night.